Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Heroes, hitting with another brand spanking new review for King-Ohger episode 9. This is another really good episode. I do think that this season is really benefiting from this first little arc of getting the team fully together. Not having a whole lot of filler in it. I feel like that would really slow things down, and that is fine later when we've established our team, to kind of slow down and have some fun episodes. But I think it's really good that we don't have it, and this episode really benefits from just going right off last episode. So with last episode, we had the whole thing where, clearly Gira is, on the run now, right? And so the other kings, of course, Himena, Yanma, Rita, and Kaguragi, are trying to figure out the best way that they can go forward, trying to keep him, a secret that he's dead. People think he's dead. Keep that, what they think, and that he's actually alive as a secret, right? And so, of course, Gira being Gira wants to just go, fucking throw these hands, catch his hands with Rockley's again. And we get this really funny scene where they're all trying to, talk to him about it. And then Rita just ends up going up to him, headbutts him. But then as she goes forward, the, hilt of her Ohsama caliber smacks him in the, belly. And he, gets knocked unconscious. It's pretty great. And she does that goofy scream that she does. It's so weird. But it's cool. Change my lighting a little brighter. Oh yeah, that's good. Anyway, so he's knocked out, and they all say they're going to work together to keep him a secret, and blah blah blah. But then we see a split four-way thing of each of them in their own way, trying to figure out a way that they can keep him a prisoner and have control over King-Ohger. Which it doesn't come off as an evil thing, just more of a they think that everyone else isn't as competent as they are thing. And they all have their different ways they're going to do it, mainly using their retainers to keep an eye on him and eventually take him, once there's been a little bit of time passed after everyone's left, back to the respective kingdom that, that person wants them at. And so we get a really fun episode with each of the retainers. So we get Sebastian and Yama's guy. Eventually Rita's one girl, I can't remember her name. She's very cute, though. And the one, Kaguragi's one person that just has the black cloth over his face and a little face drawn on it. We actually hear him speak. They actually talk about that he has a really beautiful voice. He's like, oh, thank you. But yeah, so they all leave to go, basically sell the story of, oh yeah, no, he's gone. Even Kaguragi's like, I would never have his body because you defeated him. He's gone. I don't know what you're talking about. And they mentioned before that when they're all discussing things, Gira says he's really confused about something. They're like, what? He's like, well, if Rockley's really was as ruthless as we all think he is, which I do still think he is, I find it odd that he didn't kill me. Like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, him and am I doing okay? And she's like, yeah. He's like, so I'll recover from the wound here? She goes, well, yeah. And he goes, well, how close was I to it being a fatal hit? She goes, oh, very close. So he's confused as to why Rockley's would have done that. Why Rockley's wouldn't have just taken the point to actually murder Gira instead of hitting him, a glancing blow that just knocked the wind out of him and seemingly killed him, right? And they don't really touch on it a whole lot, but it is something interesting to think about, just especially with Rockley's and his whole thing of wanting to be in control, not wanting Gira to be, a part of anything, and all of that. And so we get this really fun thing. Like I said, all the retainers pretty much working together. 3 of them at first, and then eventually Rita's. And they go to the different kingdoms. They're trying to figure out where to go that's safe because Deathnarok has sent the Bugnarok army, the Sanajim and everything, to each of the kingdoms and fucking shit up, just destroying shit. And we actually, as the retainers are going to each kingdom and kind of failing horribly at keeping Gira a secret, are finding somewhere safe anyway. It's intercut with scenes of the other kings trying to face off against Deathnarok and getting their ass beat, actually, which I really like this. I think so far Deathnarok has been a very interesting and unique villain. He's actually getting his hands dirty. He has a direct plan of what he wants to do, and he's taking care of business, and I really like that. It gets really annoying in a Sentai when the villains, say that they're this big giant threat and then they don't really do a whole lot, and they wait around and they make a lot of other people do what they need to do, because it's really just him and Kanajim right now, the one that makes the monsters grow, basically. But yeah, it's pretty cool. He beats the shit out of all of them. You'll see in a montage that they are just all defeated, basically, all the other kings. They're not dead, but they get their ass beat. So the retainers are going to each of the little kingdoms. They go to Nakospa, and they dress up Gira, and everybody is dressed up there. They're all in the tech stuff, so they look like they're part of Nakospa. And it's funny because the one Kaguragi's retainer guy has a little like a Daft Punk mask, it looks like, basically. which I thought was really funny. And Gira gets mistaken for some like child prodigy or something like that, some like really intelligent kid, and because there's some Shugadam guards there, and they're trying to distract them. Oh, you must be Aito or whatever he said his name was. The scholar extraordinaire. He's a prodigy. Prodigy. Oh my god. And they're like, yeah, that's who I am. Gira's like, who's that? And he's like, tell him to shut up, because Gira just has a big ass mouth. So they leave there. They try to go. They're thinking about going to Ishibana, and then he gets a call from Himuna saying that's under attack, and goes, "Ishibana is not where we'll be going." So I think they eventually try to go to Tofu. That doesn't work either. And they end up at Gokon with Rita's retainer girl. I can't remember her name. And it's interesting because you're getting the little dynamics that these retainers have with their respective kings and how they kind of fit in the pecking order, right? Respect-wise and all of that. And they're like, they're talking to her, and she's like, I don't really care about that. And like, well, don't you? Like, it would mean like the death of your king and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, oh, well, I'm kind of the next in line to rule and blah, 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 blah. And she's like talking this big game, acting like she's a big deal. And Gira ends up calling her out, and he's like, are you serious? And she's like, what? He's like, all of you guys, like, you say that you're these confidants, these loyal, servants of these kings, but, there's a fine line between loyalty and just straight servitude and just like completely blindly following. And I think it kind of hits a chord with all of them, that they definitely have moments where they just kind of go along with whatever their respective king says and, or leader says, and they don't really question it. But I like that. I like that he kind of breaks the mold with that and questions things. I think it's a really good part of his character. So that happens, and then we eventually get the Scorpion Shoe God comes into play, and he forms King-Ohger to fight the giant monster at the end. Of course, we find out that the Scorpion Shoe God apparently is deeply in love with Sasarine, the Grasshopper God Hopper is involved with God Scorpion. Is in love with God Scorpion, and God Scorpion is in a thing with Kuwagata, not Kuwagata, God Kabuto or whatever. So we have a mecha love triangle. It's not like Jetman where there's like a love triangle on the team, right? Not like a like a star-crossed lovers thing, like, oh, it's a villain girl and I love her so much, but she's part of the evil team. Oh, he's a good guy, I can never make it work. No, the fucking mecha, dog. This show. It's not quite as absolutely off the wall, off the rails zany as Dom Brothers and Zenkaiger were to an extent, but it has its little moments of like, are you fucking serious right now? And I really appreciate it. But yeah, so he ends up defeating the monster, and afterwards he's trying to contact the other kings, and they're all defeated. We're not sure what's going to go down now. We're not sure exactly what's going to happen. So yeah, that's how we end out the episode, is him kind of on his own, not knowing exactly what his next step's going to be. And we see in next episode, it's the kings kind of coming together, and them together fighting Bugnarok. I don't know if they're going to, or not Bugnarok, Deathnarok. I don't know if they're going to defeat him necessarily, but fighting him all together as a team. So that means I think it's fully like the team coming together, which I like that it's taken a little bit, because in Zenkaiger it was just like boom, 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 get per team. Dom Brothers even to an extent sort of took a while, went pretty quick, like forming the team, because they were kind of summoned wherever danger was, But I like that they're taking their time with this. It gives them a lot of time to develop the different leaders, their relationships with each other, how they get to know each other, how they understand each other, their goals and motivations and all of that. I really like that. I think that's really strong. And I'm really excited to see what we get going forward, especially with the reveal of, not in this episode, but generally, of Spider Kumos, the Spider Ohger, essentially, 6th Ranger, at least as far as we know, for the team, which they've translated in the scans for that. His Kumos Slayer, the transformation device he has, a little dagger with the key thing, it apparently is the first device that could transform anybody into a King-Ohger or whatever, right? So it was the first legendary artifact like that. Then came the Ohger Caliber 0. Then came the Ohger Caliber. So it's kind of cool. There's been this lineage, just technological, uphill kind of thing, kind of upscale as we've gone through. I think that's kind of interesting to build the lore of the world a little bit. I also find it fascinating, like I just said, that we have a love triangle between 3 mecha. Are you kidding me right now? It does also show in the preview Legend King-Ohger being formed. So the 3 legendary shoe gods along with Kuwagata and the others that are normally part of normal King-Ohger. So yeah, it was really, really good. I want to also throw into this my very quick thoughts on the Rockley special. They did reveal there's a Rockley's little side special they're doing for like 3 parts of it, giving his backstory and how he became king, King-Ohger and all of that. First episode's pretty good. Basic setup is he's got this scientist lady and her other assistant, and he's having her work on stuff with like the OG Caliber Zero and King-Ohger Zero and all that stuff, like the extra mecha stuff in case, like a failsafe in case this other stuff doesn't work out, and what we've seen, like his own dark mecha. Except he threatens her and he's like, yeah, well, I'll be a good job on this. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm almost done. He's like, great. I'll be really excited to see the results of the next few projects. Then I'm going to kill you. And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, I can't have the possibility of you telling anybody about this, so I'm going to kill you. She's just like, huh? She's completely, not really floored by it. It seems like she kind of knows a little bit, but still, it was, I think, pretty surprising to her. I think it was like Adelaide or something like that. So he ends up, it's really short, it's like 9 minutes long. Essentially, you find out that she's maybe a Bugnarok. He fights her for a little bit. She goes to attack the assistant guy. He stops this like weapon that she had. Or I think she's using the OG Caliber Zero. She took it from him or stole it, whatever. And it's like his hand's bleeding, and the guy's like, oh, thank you for saving me. He's like, oh, I didn't save you. I'm just kind of pushing up the timeline of when I'm going to kill you myself. I'm not going to let this thing do it. So I like the little moments where he could be heroic, and he's like, oh, no, whoa, I'm still a dickhead. He doesn't let you forget. But it's a pretty good special. It's a pretty dang good special, and I definitely would recommend it. The next part of it is going to keep going forward with, this backstory stuff. Interestingly enough, they say about this lady, her name is Adelaide, I think, that she was neither human nor Bugnarok, which is an interesting note to, say during the preview, because, again, some of the translated scan stuff about Spider Kumos has said that one of the keys that he has for his Kumo Slayer thing activates some kind of berserker mode that might make him into a Bugnarok. So I wonder if that's what they're going for, the proto version of this, essentially, to kind of get people used to the idea, and then maybe he'll be in the background, the last part of it, and that'll be how he's sort of introduced. I don't know. But again, it's a really good special, and I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for the idea of the Sixth Ranger, that he's not necessarily a king, that he's like an assassin, essentially. And I wonder if he's the one that was, through some way, either forced or paid, whatever, that poisoned him and his parents and had done all these also awful things. But I'm not 100% sure. Character description stuff about him seems like he's a decent person, so I don't know that. But it does definitely give a paid assassin type, secret assassin vibes. Definitely Dishonored almost, a little bit. So I'm really interested in that. His name is Jeremy, which is very strange. It's Sentai at this point. I don't question it. There's no point. There's no point. What is it going to accomplish? Nothing. But overall, I would say episode 9, probably give it a strong 8.5 out of 10. Wasn't blow my mind great, but it was still really entertaining, and I like that we're keeping up the pace of the story and the quality all the way through. It was very much so worth my time to watch it. It was entertaining and pushed the story forward, so I thanked it for that. I was hoping for a bit more team interaction and stuff like that, but I do like that they had at least a moment to give. I guess I said there wasn't a lot of filler, but I guess you could consider part of this filler with the retainer characters, because they're probably not going to become Rangers. Maybe I say that, and I'm probably cursing myself just saying that. But overall, still a pretty decent episode. The Rockley special, absolutely baller, 10 out of 10. Yeah, it was just great. It was short and sweet, to the point. It really encapsulates, if you already really enjoy the character or you already love to hate him, it's going to just make that more of a feeling for you. So, coming up for content on the channel, I definitely, I think I already have my episode 33 Geats review up. I might do something for 34, but I'm waiting until the subs come out, and I think people are kind of being wary about that because the episode came out early, and they're worried if they put the subs out too early that Toei will do a, strike down on that and all that, a cease and desist, whatever. So I think I'm going to wait a little bit on that, so it'll probably be a later in the week type random upload for that. But definitely that. Henshins and Homies, we just had our episode yesterday all about toys, so check that out on the Henshins and Homies YouTube channel. Recently updated the banner image there and the profile picture there, so we've kind of upping our ante, if you will, our production value. I clearly now have a ring light, which is what the light source is coming in here. So I'm really excited about that, and a better camera. As you can see, a wider angle 1080p camera, so it's absolutely mind-boggling to me to see myself in this high definition. going to be filming a Kamen Rider Death Stream henshin today, and hopefully a Toku Toy View. I don't know about today, but maybe tomorrow or just pretty soon. I want to get that Toku Toy View out of the way. I've been saying I'm going to do it, and I haven't. And I really would like to kind of get into the nitty gritty about it and like what I like about it, when I don't. Spoilers, there's not a whole lot I don't. But yeah, so but if you guys have other ideas in the comments below, let me know what you guys want for content. If you guys want me to more like talk about different concepts in seasons or character arcs, if there's certain seasons I've not discussed or reviewed or talked about and you want me to, I would definitely be willing to look into it for sure. We're right about like 460 or something higher around there subscribers, which is absolute insanity. But I thank you guys so much for being along for the ride so far. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, watching my stuff. I really appreciate it. Definitely stay subscribed here and to the Henshins and Homies podcast. We really appreciate you guys. Your love there. Support means the whole world. Also, before I go, pretty soon I should have some more things to give for, if you watch the episode where we had, what's his name? Immortal Red Fox on. I talked with Frankie, and he has an artist that he recommended to me to commission some artwork of my indie hero, Lunch Mako, a shark-themed, Aztec shark-themed hero, basically. So I have commissioned an artist, and they are working on it currently. So as soon as I have more of that, past just like the first few little like line art pieces and stuff like that, and I have more like to actually show for that, definitely going to do a video about that, somehow find a way to display it up here to show you guys what the artwork looks like and get more details on kind of the story I want to go with it and just sort of the idea, just something fun again. But thank you guys so much for watching. But until next time, stay hooked on heroes. I'll talk to you later. Bye.